Chowder is yet another cartoon I'm gonna be returning for this occasion, and the episode I'm gonna be talking about is Hey, it's Krishmas. Yes, I actually say Krishmas because in the world of Chowder, it doesn't have the same name, so instead of Christmas, it's called Krishmas. Yeah. I can say Krishmas throughout the entire review, and I won't be ashamed of mispronouncing Christmas, since that this is Chowder, and Chowder's way of pronouncing different words by changing them honestly makes this show a lot more unique the more I think about it. But anyway, what's this episode about? Chowder desperately wants these non-electric golden trimmers on Krishmas. Yes, I am aware that these objects have a name, but let's face it, it's a long name, and no matter how many times Chowder said throughout this entire episode, it's still difficult to remember the entire name of this object, so I'm just gonna call them golden trimmers. The reason why he really wants this is because he's been a good boy all year, and he can't wait to talk to Knish Twinkle, who is this show's equivalent to Santa Claus, that he wants this gift for this holiday, for being a good boy. However, Mondal has an issue. Not only he won't be able to afford the gift that Chowder wants, but it's also the fact that if Knish Twinkle does come, it won't be able to succeed, because the only way to get some gifts from Knish Twinkle is to make a huge gingerbread house so that he can eat the whole thing. However, if he doesn't like it, he completely wrecks the entire kitchen. Don't believe me? Well, this image or screenshot completely tells everything. Seriously. I never completely found the idea of Santa Claus completely destroying something because either the fact that no one gave him cookies or milk, or the fact that the cookies were bad to the point that that Santa will refuse to drink or eat the cookies and milk. So I honestly found this really unique, but also devastating and sometimes hilarious at the same time. And what I mean by that is the fact that Mondal is just trying to actually do a good deed by making a gingerbread house for himself, but ends up failing miserably, really goes to show that Mondal isn't really a great chef compared to Endive. And yes, I'm gonna get to Endive eventually in this episode. Also, correction, it's actually called a gingerbread house instead of a gingerbread house. It's not... I honestly mixed that up, so it's actually a gingerbread house. Again, this world of naming foods with different names is unique, but at the same time, it's also difficult to forget, but not as difficult as remembering Chowder's gift that he wanted. Anyway, for the majority of this montage of Chowder singing, they try everything to make a good gingerbread house for Knish Twinkle. However, no matter how many times they make, it just completely gives Chowder more concern to the point that he won't be able to get what he wants on Krishmas. So Mondal has no other option because he just doesn't want to have Endive think that her gingerbread houses were better than his. Throughout the majority of the show, there's always competition between Mondal and Endive, and for what it's worth, it's just basically who's the better chef, and this has been happening constantly throughout this show, and I will admit, I really found it entertaining to the point that I actually kind of enjoy the interactions between Mondal and Endive. If I'm ever going to talk about an episode involving these two face off each other, it will be at a later time, because definitely this is the type of writing that really makes this episode really interesting, because this really makes Chowder more concerned that he wants everyone to think, he wants Mondal to think that his gingerbread houses were better than Endive's. And Chowder's plan is to have the help of Panini and Gorgonzola to be dressed up as Knish Twinkle and completely eat the gingerbread house. However, Knish Twinkle arrives just in time while everyone else is asleep in Chowder's house. Well, Mondal's house, but still. And this is what Knish Crinkle looks like. He has 4 bodies, something or whatever, while Chowder's costume only has 3. And the fact that he isn't the shape as Santa Claus. He does have the beard, but unlike Santa Claus, he isn't. Knish Crinkle isn't like a human like everyone else. So I actually found this design a lot more different in the fact that he doesn't speak a lot and just goes, ugh. Even if it may be annoying, it actually gives him much of a personality and making him a lot more different Santa compared to the other Santas that we've seen in other Christmas episodes. I know I keep going off topic most of the time, but Penelope and Gorgonzola, like I mentioned, are in this episode. And all I can say is that Penelope is just desperate for a child to kiss under the mistletoe, and Gorgonzola just completely says that Knish Crinkle doesn't exist because it's just basically those cliche tropes that thinking that Santa doesn't exist, but then when he meets Santa the first time, he is proven wrong all along. I've always said this so many times, and I'm going to keep saying that a lot once we reach into more reviews in this month. But for right now, I should probably go talk about Gazpacho and the fact that he was playing Knish Crinkle in front of the children, including Snitchel. Yes, I'm not making this up. In order to actually give them advice of what they can do during this time of holiday. Since that Gazpacho is one of the funniest characters from the show, you should honestly expect the comedy coming from him. In my opinion, I didn't mention this in my last review of Chowder because again, it was part of Cartoon Crisis and stuff like that. I really say that out of all the characters I've seen from the show, he delivers the best comedy, especially of how he tries so hard to make his portrayal as Knish Crinkle entertaining while trying to actually convince Chowder that he is actually Knish Crinkle. Believe me, it's really hilarious to actually see him dressed up as Knish Crinkle while also trying to make the best jokes, because once he completely reveals to Chowder and Penelope and the others that he wasn't Knish Crinkle, his reactions is just amazing. I mean, the way he just said, "Look at the real me," and when he runs away, his voice just gets more better whenever he reacts. Seriously, I never get tired from his character, and the fact that he reacts a lot more better than the other episodes that we've seen, well, mainly while Chowder goes to the dentist. I can tell that he really did a good job to actually make, the voice actor did a really good job on voicing Gazpacho in this. Seriously, it really makes Gazpacho a really entertaining character in this show. And I'm not even done with him yet, because not only he did most of this to actually do the right thing in Knishmas, he's also, well, not really the narrator of this, but he's basically the one telling the story from the beginning, middle, and end of this Christmas episode. All I can say is that when it comes to stop motion in Chowder, they really did a decent job into making these stop motion effects really good. Especially the fact that they've been doing this some of the times in the show. In 22-minute episodes like the Apprentice games and this episode, they really make the stop motion really good. Granted, it's only for a TV budget and a cartoon budget, but at the same time, they really made these stop motion effects really good, even for a cartoon. Okay, I should probably stop discussing every detail about this episode. I should probably get back to the main plot. After Chowder succeeds by eating the gingerbread house, he completely talks to Mon about how he doesn't want his pride to be destroyed after failing constantly. And when Knish Crinkle completely heard everything that what Chowder said, he actually understands. You can understand the fact that even though he doesn't speak in complete sentences with English, he can still understand English from the other characters. And after giving gifts to Panini and Mondal, Knish Crinkle decides to give Chowder those golden trembles. I honestly think of how this episode treats Christmas, or in other words, Krishmas, a really serious holiday, while seeing Chowder just wanted to do the right thing while having Mundar not having his pride being destroyed because of making a deal with Endive. I really think that really makes Chowder really likable on the fact that even though he isn't really intelligent, he also tries to do the right thing. Well, other than the last episode I reviewed, but let's not get back to that. I really think that if this episode is just mainly about Mondal just trying to make Chowder feel better, this episode will probably been 11 minutes long because there's probably no reason to extend it longer to actually see who Knish Kringle is, or the fact that if Mondal actually succeeds or not. I actually think that 22-minute episodes like this really makes really has a good execution compared to other episodes that just drag out for way too long with not much of an execution. And yes, I am talking about the SpongeBob episode Frozen Face Off, even though it's not a Christmas episode. But I'm just proving my points on the execution of extending an episode into 22 minutes. Overall, I did enjoy Chowder's Hey, it's Krishmas episode. It really shows that Chowder can really make great episodes, and the fact that it's actually a one-of-a-kind from other viewers, especially when it's considered a cartoon that's way ahead of its time. And it really goes to show because this episode was released in 2008, which was a year after Chowder. And I have to say, they really know what they're talking about regarding to Chowder being way ahead of time, because now I can officially understand it. I give this episode an 8.25 out of 10.